Reflections on the Power of the Verb in Certain Texts by Juan Luis Jorge. To act is in itself divine. Even the slightest movement of our hand is evidence of our soul in motion. Yet our free will is so easily overwhelmed by the dullness of everyday life. Our actions become rote and rigid in spite of luxury and comfort. True divinity is found in the choice of leaving the stage where we all perform. People who discover this freedom unexpectedly will be struck by the terror of this revelation and become paralyzed, or worse, turn to suicide. However, if you are able to weather that storm, you will discover that there is a divine path beyond that fear. There is a chance to dismount your destiny and make something new. Something that hasn't been planned for or predestined. There is difficulty in explaining this type of acting as it transcends our everyday choices. This isn't some banal decision choosing one career over the other, or even who I should marry. Leaving the stage, no matter how, isn't a matter of course correction. It's a rejection of the story that the Creator is telling.
It's wet shut. It worked. I don't have everything I need.
The significance of the constellation of Taurus may seem a bit opaque, but in my mind it all comes down to another symbol for the good and the evil within Jeremy, and in turn all of us. There are two things we find in that constellation that is of interest to us. First, the star Aldebaran. We often just call it the Dark Sun, which is a representation of Nyarlathotep and the presence of
The Barlow lens. Instructions. To double the magnification of your telescope, simply fit this Barlow lens to your instrument. Then operate the fine tuners to adjust the distance between your lenses. This is easily done while looking through your eyepiece.
Dark Man. In the same constellation we also find the Pleiades, which is said to house the great library of Celano, which in our game is called Taroea. So, all in all, in this cosmic bull we find darkness in the Aldebaran and the light in Celano. Or in the terms of our game, in this celestial creature we find the Dark Man as well as Juan, the ultimate enemy and the ultimate ally as manifested by Jeremy. Finally, of course, what is a star constellation if not an effort to establish order out of the chaos that is nature, which is why the final puzzle of the game is rebuilding the constellation of Taurus.
Yeah. What's that stain? Looks like some kind of rot.
The original game was set in 1920 because this is a very convenient time. Everything looks familiar, houses, furnitures, but there is no technology which can mess up a lot of things in the gameplay. So this was very convenient.
I guess this works too?
The dream of the grave under the cheniere suddenly vanished, and Emily found herself back at Derceto. Instead of Jeremy, she found Lottie, who, just like her brother Baptiste, reminded her of John, who died so bravely in the war. She pushed her painful memories out of her mind and returned to her investigation. She still needed to figure out what to do with the boiler.
Jeremy? What the hell is that? What? There was a dead body in here. Did I just imagine that?
We were quite lucky at this time. A lot of new technology arrived, like the Sound Blaster card that allows us to put sample in the game. So Philippe, the musician, had to make all the sounds in the game with its mics to try to make the game feel realistic.
The body of Deceto's clerk transformed into some eye-clad abomination before he suddenly disappeared. Surely it was all in her head, a horrible vision planted by the Dog Man.
It's wet shut. It worked. Whoa.
There is a big difference from the original game in this one. You can meet a lot of different characters. In the original one, I decided since the beginning that, because it was easier to do, that you will not meet any other character.
And as you all know by now, we didn't follow that suggestion. No, we chose to incorporate quite a lot of characters just because we thought it would be fun. I guess we're a little less alone in the dark, but we're fine with it.
I need the key.
Do you teach piano as well?
Huh?
You're a governess. Did you teach those clawing Casino kids how to play the piano?
How do you know about that?
Just because grown-ups don't notice children doesn't mean we don't notice you.
Yes. I taught them some piano.
Are you any good at it?
Not good enough to play a broken one.
It fell from the attic, brought half the ceiling down.
It was Jeremy's fault, wasn't it?
Nobody knows what happened, but you're not wrong.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna go now. See you around.
In the grand parlor, you can find a piano that has crashed through the ceiling. And this is a reference to the original game. The first quest basically that you get as a player is that you're told there's a piano in the attic and you should go and investigate it. And so early on in our game as well, the idea would be that you get this very same quest. But as you have to pass the grand parlor, we thought it would be fun to find the piano having sort of crashed through the ceiling and made a whole mess, because kind of saying this is sort of what the original, this game is sort of like the original, but not quite.
It was very fun to see the piano.
On the commonplace of evil. On the commonplace of evil. There lies virtue and stark irreverence, careless thoughts of luminous indifference. But blame not the beast we once were, which science so often wished to refer. Not the wicked full of sin, it is you who stand and grin. All our good intentions aside, whereupon we build our pride. Sunlight
That went down from the attic to the ground. Yep, in the first game, the piano was here more to find a reason for the player to go upstairs more than anything else.
Come on, Grace. I'm too tired for games. I'll even let you play with my jackknife. Oh, good evening. You haven't seen a little girl by any chance, have you?
I don't think so.
You would have known if you did. The only kid crazy enough to be in this place.
She's not in her room then?
That would be a first. Always running around causing trouble. She's very hard to pin down, that one. You want a sip?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, I should be going then. Unless there's anything you need from me.
I just want to find my uncle before anything happens to him.
Oh, don't worry, miss. He'll show up. He is much too lily-livered to kill himself.
Why would he?
It's his greatest ambition, didn't you know? Take care now.